Hello, how we doing? How's it going? Today we are going to go over another video of solving word problems. So we're still using that same cube strategy that we've been talking about. We're just going to use it in a different problem. So this one says Mrs. Montero went on a hike. She started at an elevation of 213 feet. She climbed up a mountain 789 feet. Then she descended into a valley 345 feet. She walked up a hill another 120 feet. She then walked down to a restaurant 500 feet. What was her ending elevation? So, again, all of these steps are just setting you up to have a strategy to help you solve a problem. There's a lot of information in this problem that we might accidentally forget if we don't take the time to really analyze, if we don't take the time to really annotate through this question. We're annotating this problem just like you annotate text in English class. It helps you understand something better. So let's go through cubes with this problem. The C again stands for to circle the important numbers. So let's go through and do that. What numbers in here are important? 213, 789, 345, 120, and 500. There's a lot of numbers in this problem. Sometimes in word problems, they're going to spell out the words because they're going to try to trick you. Don't let that confuse you. Make sure that you're reading carefully in case you see a number written like 4, like that. Sometimes you'll see it in words, but we don't have that in this problem. But read carefully. Next, we want to go through and we want to underline the question. What do they want us to do? What's the question in this problem? What was her ending elevation? That word elevation means how far above or below sea level we are. If it's a positive number, that means it's above sea level. If it's a negative number, that means it's below sea level. If it's right at sea level, that means it's 0. There's nothing above, nothing below, right there, exactly where it is. Sometimes the question isn't going to be a question. Sometimes it'll just be a statement like, find Mrs. Montero's elevation. That's just a statement. It's not a question because there's no question mark. But the question is, what do they want you to do here? Next, we want to go through and we want to put a box around the key words. Not every word is important. There are only 3 kinds of numbers that are important. The first one are units, ways that we measure things. So like hours, or feet, or ounces. Those are all units, ways that we measure things. In 7th grade, you'll have to convert between different units, so it's important that we know which ones we're working with. The next type of word that is important are directions. It's like up or down, left or right, north, south, east, west. Those are all examples of directions. And those directions will help tell us if the number is going to be positive or a negative number. So directions, how we're moving, is important too. And the last are operations. In case you forgot, the math operations are adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Take a second, pause the video to write those things down. Again, only these 3 types of numbers are important. Everything else doesn't really matter. We're going to take this one sentence at a time because this is a long paragraph for a math problem. One sentence at a time to find key words, units, directions, or operations. Mrs. Montero went on a hike. Anything important there? Nope. No. Nothing tells me a unit, direction, or operation. She started at an elevation of 213 feet. Anything important in that sentence? Feet. Feet is a unit. It's a way that I measure things. Whenever we see a unit, that's going to be a key word for us. She climbed up a mountain 789 feet. There's that unit feet again. There's another important word in that sentence. What is it? Up. Up is a direction. Up tells us to do the operation of what, do you think? If we're going up, it's getting bigger. So up means that we need to add. We're going to have to add this 789 number. Nice job. Let's look at the next sentence. Then she descended into a valley 345 feet. There's that unit feet again. What other word in here is important? Descended. What does descend mean? It's like descender in Spanish. Descend means we're going to go down. That's a direction, down. And then what operation do you think goes with descending? If we're going down, that means we're going to be subtracting a number. We're going to be subtracting this 345 feet. Our next sentence, she walked up a mountain or up a hill another 125 feet. Again, there's my word feet. For a unit, what else is important? Yeah, we see that word up again. Up means what operation? Up means we're adding. Very good. So we're going to add 120. Our next sentence, she then walked down to a restaurant 500 feet. There's my unit again. What else is important? Down. What operation, add, subtract, multiply, or divide, goes with the word down? Minus, just like descend. And then my last question, or my last sentence is a question. What was her ending elevation? There's no units, directions, or operation. It's just asking elevation. Is she positive? Is she negative? Is she zero? They don't know. So those are all of our key words. Again, not everything's important. Knowing that it's Miss Montero doesn't really matter here. It's not like there's two people. If there's two people, that might be important to know who's doing what. But right now, this is all we have for keywords. Next, our E, we want to go through and eliminate extra information or information that they're trying to confuse us with. Do we have any of that here? No. Everything's really straightforward. There's no confusing numbers or words that they're trying to confuse us with. It's good that we go through and read the whole question several times to help us see if there's anything they're trying to trick us with. Last, we want to go through to solve and check. So because of all these annotations, all these little notes that we've made, we already know what to do if we just go through and read it. So we have our 213 feet that we're starting with. Then we're climbing up, so we're going to add 789 feet. Then she descended, so that means to minus 345 feet. Then she walked up, that's plus 120 feet. She then walked down to a restaurant. Down means minus 500 feet. If you don't have your Desmos calculator on a different tab yet, please pull that up so you can solve this problem for us. See, what was Mrs. Montero's ending elevation? So if I come in here and check, 213 plus 789 minus 345 plus 120 minus 500 gives us that Miss Montero's ending elevation was 277. Now, it's important that we made note of all of our units so that we can add that to our final answer. So this is 277 what? Feet. The abbreviation for feet is FT. It's important that I put that there. I don't know if it's pounds, if it's cantaloupes, if it's flamingos, if it's trains. We need to have the units so we know what we're talking about. And because it's a positive number, that means it's above sea level. Remember, at sea level is 0, below sea level is negative. So Miss Montero is 277 feet above sea level. We've solved it, but now we're going to go through and double check, make sure we've used all of our information. So I have my 213. I added 789. I subtracted 345. I added 120. And I subtracted 500. I used all of the information up top to help me solve my problem. Especially in a question like this, there's a lot of numbers, and if you miss one of them, you're gonna get the whole thing wrong. So going back through and double checking is always a good idea. If you have any questions, let us know. Good luck.